Hello, and welcome to my talk about critical pedagogy at home and abroad. I want to start out by talking about my educational experience. I would say from kindergarten until now in my graduate program, I've definitely had a mixed bag of experiences when it comes to critical theory. In the early years, I would say that most of my teachers used the banking model as expressed by Fier. They believed that this was the best way to be teaching us, and they thought the technical knowledge that they were imparting on us, like McLaren said, was what we needed to be successful in the world. There was no space for the emancipatory knowledge that we talked about this week. And that comes with expanding our classrooms into including student thought, practical knowledge, and critical pedagogy. None of that was really happening in those early years. However, as I got into fifth through 12th grade, the concepts of critical theory were definitely becoming more popular in the school district that I was in, and I would say about 50% of my teachers were integrating some of the practices into their classroom. However, there was definitely no top-down model at our district to include critical pedagogy in the classroom. I'm still at the same district in which I grew up, and there's still no top-down model of how to integrate critical theory into the classroom. As I got into my undergraduate program, they gave us a lot of time to grapple with the pieces of pedagogy as I prepared myself for my classroom. And we spent a lot of time thinking about those who had historically been denied access and the ability to participate in education fully. And I was given the time to acknowledge some of the biases I had not previously knew that I held. Currently in my practice, I believe that I'm missing the target a bit. Thankfully, due to some of the work that I did in my undergraduate, I believe that there's some unintentional practices happening. As a kindergarten teacher, there are some subjects that are a little bit simpler to add persuasion into. However, this is not the standard model for my classroom. Um, I believe that I should continue working to understand these concepts, and I would like to have a better understanding of how to practically apply the techniques into the classroom. I looked at the study from the United Kingdom, and it compared and contrasted the policies and practices of two systems in the UK that are currently changing education. One is a top down model, which is the early years education stage profile in the Office for Standards in Education. And then there's the bottom up approach, which is the birth to five matters. Both of these are government run systems. However, they both have very different ways of applying critical theory. The top down method is completely using race evasive techniques, for lack of a better term, color blindness, as their main technique to address race based issues in their schooling system. This systematic silence on race and racism, which is contributing to harm experienced by racially minoritized children. Um, they're not doing the work that they need to be doing, and it's creating systematic issues for the students, starting in the youngest years of their education. In contrast, Birth to Five Matters, they are actively acknowledging race and explicitly using anti-racist terminologies, and is actively run by people who have practiced and lived experiences in anti-racist spaces. It seems that the United Kingdom and the United States are much alike in the fact that the policies from the top are perpetuating systematic injustices, while grassroots efforts, local governments, and lay people do the groundwork running to ensure equity for their next door neighbors. Some things I'm still grappling with is how can I make a positive impact on systematic issues from the classroom level, and what does critical pedagogy look like at the elementary level. I'm ready to understand how the sausage gets made and to really understand how I can make a better impact on my students every single day.